Hey BookTube, it's Samantha, and I thought I would try something kind of different. I was on vacation this past week, and I decided to vlog my reading while I was on my trip. And this trip was actually being done with my husband and then my in-law family. So I knew I wasn't going to have a lot of time to read, but I figured there was going to be some downtime every once in a while, and just to see what I could get to. I actually did a good job and limited myself to only 3 books. So I brought We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson, because it's short. I brought Cheerleaders, The First Evil of the Fear Street series by R.L. Stine. It's the first book in the Cheerleader series, also short. And then I also brought The Son of Neptune by Rick Riordan, which is the second book in the Heroes of Olympus series. In this video, I had planned for it to be more about my reading experience rather than the trip, but it turned to be the other way around. So you're gonna see a lot of scenic shots, videos, pictures of my trip this past week, and then whenever I was able to get some reading done, I have that in there as well. So stay tuned to the end of the video to see what I got to. Hey everyone, we're at the LAX airport. We're waiting for our flight. I'm actually planning on reading a book on the plane, so we'll see how far I go on that. It's pretty crowded and our flight is delayed, so we're gonna try and get on an earlier flight, but we don't know, so we'll find out. On the plane, gonna keep reading this. We'll see how far we get.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to flight number 4710.
Hey everyone, so I'm just gonna talk over parts of these videos because I wasn't saying anything. We were not able to get on that earlier flight, and our first flight was delayed where we missed our connecting flight, and so we got onto a later one, which we got to South Dakota later than we wanted to, but we did get there. This video is from Wednesday morning because by the time we got in on Tuesday night, it was dark, and we're on our way to Mount Rushmore. Now, it was really cold this morning. The wind was really blowing, as you can see with the trees, but it was nice getting there early in the morning where there wasn't as many people. It was really cool to see Mount Rushmore in person. I'm glad we spent some time there. It's a buffalo!
What's he eating?
The grass? Oh, he's so cool. He's so little. So here I was navigating us through the Needles Highway when we see these bison crossing the road. And I thought it'd be cool to roll down the window and get a clear shot without the dirty windshield. But as I rolled down the window, I lost my map out the window. And so I had to put my phone down really quick and chase after the map because I didn't want to litter in this area. And the wind was blowing and it took me forever to chase it down. And I was a little worried that the bison were gonna come after me. Oh, that was a little scary because they were definitely looking at me, but they didn't make any motion, so it worked out. Here we're driving through the Needles Highway, which is really windy, but it was just a beautiful view. I absolutely loved it. So one of the main reasons why I wanted to go on the Needles Highway is I heard it was recommended, but I also heard that there's these really cool tunnels that were actually made into these rock formations. And so we're driving up to it right now. We've already gone through one at this point, but we're going on to the second one, which is the Needles Eye. And I didn't know what to expect. It definitely wasn't this. I looked it up and the width of this tunnel is 8.5 feet. The van that we were driving in seemed to almost barely fit in. It's definitely one lane and it was a little nerve-wracking, but it was also really cool to actually drive through this huge mountain. Hey everyone, so it's Thursday and I haven't done any reading since the plane. We went to, as you saw earlier, we went to Mount Rushmore and we drove around the Needles. And today we're going to Devil's Tower. It's a 2-hour drive. So it's going to be a busy day. I might get some reading done tonight, but unfortunately I just can't read in the car. I get car sick. So we'll see how that goes. Otherwise, trip's going good. It's relaxing, so it will work out. There's actually a climber that is going up Devil's Tower at this time. It was really windy, so it was hard to believe that they were going up, but it's that dot that's in the center to left side of the screen. Hey everyone, so everyone just went down for bed. It's about 8:50 or so right now. I'm still like wide awake. I'm kind of a night person, so I decided I'm gonna read for a little bit longer. I'm around page 116 in this, and it's definitely the read that I need for vacation. It's nice and easy. I'm starting to get into the story. I'm still very much still learning about the characters. Obviously, we get things from Percy's point of view, and then I've learned a little bit about Hazel, but I still need to get into Frank's. Oh, I'm just about to start the chapter about Frank, so I'm definitely still trying to get to know the characters, but I'm enjoying them so far, and yeah, we'll see where it goes. So now it's Friday, and my husband and my father-in-law really wanted to go see the Minutemen missile silo that's in South Dakota. So that was also a really long drive. There's literally nothing out here, which is the whole point of it. Unfortunately, we weren't able to go on the tour to see the silo, so we only watched the documentary, and then we ended up at the Air and Space Museum, which was on the way back home. This is definitely something my husband is really into, and my father-in-law is really into. They love looking at the helicopters and the airplanes and looking to see how they work, and actually looking at them and seeing how they work. Definitely not my thing, but it's what he enjoys, so that's what we spent time doing. That right there is the Minutemen missile that we had saw at the previous site. And then we ended up at Crazy Horse at the very end of the day. Unfortunately, we only had about a half hour of time there, but it was really cool when we went there. This here is what they call the sculpture studio, and they had this video going showing the workers over time working on the figurine in the mountain, which is really cool. This place I would love to spend more time at. If I could go back again, I would love to go here again and just look at all of the interesting artifacts that they have and the way that they're making this mountain into this sculpture. And it's being done over a long period of time, and you can kind of see the various processes. It's kind of taking a long time, but that's because it's not state or federally funded. And over here you can just see the wider side of the room. They actually had a room next door where you could take a chunk of the rock that is forming the mountain of Crazy Horse, and you can actually take it home, and that was really cool. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that because the rock could be a weapon. It was pretty heavy, but I really enjoyed this and would definitely go again. And that was my trip to South Dakota. So, as you saw, I didn't get to all the books that I wanted to read. We did have a lot of driving time, which was great. If I could have read then, I would have, but my motion sickness has been getting worse over the years, and so it just wasn't an option for me. Plus, I was doing navigating, as you could tell in my narration. So, the only book that I actually got to was The Son of Neptune, and I ended on page 222, which, as you can see, is almost halfway through the book. Overall, it was a total of 3 hours and 5 minutes that I spent reading, which, considering that I was on this trip and doing a whole bunch of stuff, I think that was pretty good. So far, my thoughts on this book is that I am enjoying it. There's a couple of little things that are hiccups for me personally. As I mentioned in a previous video talking about The Lost Hero, which is the first book in this series, I talked about that in my March wrap-up. So if you want more information on that, I'll link that below. But as I mentioned in that video, there are a lot of characters from the Percy Jackson series that are also in this series. And there are a lot of events that are mentioned in the series that happened previously, which honestly is a nice touch. I'd like when that's done. But the only problem is, as a person who's only read the Percy Jackson series once, it's kind of hard for me to remember all the different people and the exact situations of how they know people. And I find myself kind of sitting down for a little bit and trying to think, okay, how did they know each other again? Like, what exactly happened? A lot of those moments have been happening for me. But I also understand that the Percy Jackson series is almost an equivalent of the Harry Potter series for people, where the people who are fans of the Percy Jackson series have read the books multiple times. So it makes sense that Rick Riordan would put those little tidbits in there for those big fans who have read the books multiple times in order to enjoy it even more. It's just been difficult for me because I've only read those books once, and I think it was a year or two ago. So I'm just trying to remember what happens. The second little issue I have with this is I think there's a lot going on. A lot. I mean, I'm almost halfway through the book, and there are so many side plots that I'm having a hard time, like, keeping them straight. And I'm a person that really enjoys fantasies and epic fantasies, as you can see, like, love them. But in this one, a little bit of a spoiler alert. So there is this plot that Mother Earth is waking up and is going to, like, just destroy the world. And then she's also trying to raise her sons to help her accomplish that, which is a quest in and of its own that the main characters are being assigned to. And then there's also the plot of the Romans and the Greek camps not knowing they exist, the other exists. And so there's a conflict there that we're learning about. And then the god of death is chained, so people that are dying or monsters that are dying don't stay dead, they come back to life. And in order to make sure they're dead, one of the characters has to go and find the god of death. There's that. They gotta find where he's at and release him so people stay dead. And then you're getting to know two more main characters, and they have their own backstories and related to previous characters and whatnot. And they each have secrets that aren't revealed yet, so those are being unveiled at the same time. And then the Romans are missing their main person, which was the focus in the first book. And so they're trying to figure out their whole order of things, and it really depends on what happens in a few days, which is when the camp is supposed to be attacked. There's so much going on that I'm really having a tough time keeping everything straight. I I'm enjoying it. Don't get me wrong. I'm enjoying the book. It's just there's a lot going on. I feel like the first book was well balanced. And then I get to the second book and it's just like, okay, here's what the whole entire series is going to be about. And we're going to crunch it all into right here rather than spreading it out. And it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm hoping that this will be the last book of introducing new main characters and that the rest of the series will be just following them and just unraveling as you go. Because it's a lot of info dumping. I didn't mean for that to be such a reviewy, spoilery thing, but yeah, I had a really good trip overall. And if you liked the whole vacation vlog thing and showing you the different places that I go, my husband and I, we do like to travel every few months or so, or I actually go home to Iowa about 2 times a year. So if you guys want more of these videos where I show you images of where I'm going and where I'm reading, let me know below and comment on maybe certain places you'd like me to go and visit. I live in Southern California, so if there's a place in Southern California that you'd really like to see, just let me know and maybe I can arrange that. So until next time, I'll see you later. Thanks.